Your mind doesn't need hours to slow down. It needs a moment, a breath, a pause. In a world that tells you to go faster, stillness becomes your quiet rebellion. And even now, as thoughts swirl, lists pile up, notifications ring, you have access to peace. You don't need silence around you. You need silence within you. And that begins right here. So take a breath, not a deep one, just a conscious one. And notice what it feels like to arrive, not at a destination, but in this moment. Because you don't have to escape your life to find calm. You just have to return to it differently. Let go of the idea that meditation must be perfect. You don't need a quiet room, incense, or crossed legs. You just need awareness. Right now, your mind might still be racing. That's okay. Let it run. But don't follow it. Just notice. Notice the breath as it enters, and the breath as it leaves. Nothing more. Don't try to push thoughts away. Let them come, and let them go, like clouds across the sky. This is the essence of quick meditation. Not the absence of thought, but the return to presence, again and again. And the more you return, the quieter the mind becomes, not by force, but by invitation. Thoughts will pull you. They'll say, "You're wasting time." They'll ask, "What's the point of this?" But you don't need to argue with the mind. You only need to notice that it's speaking, and choose not to answer. That's meditation. Not control, not silence, but choice. Each breath becomes a gentle return. And with each return, your nervous system softens. Your chest loosens. Your thoughts lose their urgency. You're not trying to escape the world. You're learning how to sit within it, calmly. If this moment of stillness feels good, consider subscribing and tap the bell. Because sometimes, all it takes is 5 minutes to come home to yourself. There's a myth that says your mind has to be quiet for meditation to work. But the truth is, the noise is part of the process. The thoughts, the distractions, the wandering. They don't mean you're failing. They mean you're practicing. Every time your mind drifts and you gently bring it back, you're building strength. Not in silence, but in awareness. Even a 1-minute pause in the middle of your day can shift everything. It can soften a reaction, calm a spiral, reset your focus. You don't need a perfect moment. You just need a willing one. And right now, this moment is more than enough. Close your eyes if it feels right, and give yourself permission to just be here. Stillness isn't something you chase. It's something you uncover, layer by layer, beneath the rush. Right now, notice what's happening in your body, your shoulders, your jaw, your breath. You don't need to change anything. Just notice. This gentle awareness is the beginning of calm. There is no finish line in meditation, no badge, no perfect session. There's only presence, and presence is always now. You don't need 30 minutes. You don't even need 10. You need this. One quiet breath, followed by another, and another. Let that be enough, because it is. Distraction will always exist. There will always be something pulling your attention, a sound, a memory, a task unfinished. But meditation isn't about escaping all of it. It's about learning to sit inside the moment. Anyway, right now, notice how your breath moves without effort. No force, no fixing, just rhythm. It's always been there. Even when your mind wandered, your breath stayed. That's your anchor. And every time you return to it, you remind yourself, peace is not found. It's remembered. No matter how busy your life feels, you always have access to this moment, to this breath, to this stillness. And with practice, this stillness begins to walk with you, even in motion. You don't have to feel calm for meditation to be working. You don't even have to like it. You just have to show up. Stillness is not the absence of discomfort. It's the ability to stay present, even while discomfort moves through you. That's the shift. From resisting the moment to allowing it. So if your thoughts are still loud, if your body feels restless, if your attention keeps drifting, good. You're in the work. Meditation is not about perfection. It's about practice. It's about the courage to come back, again and again. And the more you come back, the more you realize you were never far away to begin with. Sometimes the mind won't settle. Sometimes the thoughts feel heavier than the breath can carry. That's okay. Let them be there, and breathe anyway. Meditation isn't about creating silence. It's about noticing the noise and choosing not to chase it. When the mind says, "This isn't working," smile gently and return to the breath. When your to-do list resurfaces, notice it and return. Because every return is a victory. Not the kind you celebrate out loud, but the kind that strengthens something deep inside. You are not here to erase your thoughts. You are here to meet them differently. And with every breath, you teach your body, "I'm safe. I'm present. I'm here." You don't need a perfect mind to practice presence. You just need a willing heart. Right now, notice how your body responds to stillness. Maybe there's resistance. Maybe there's relief. Both are welcome. There's no right way to feel. Only the honesty of what is. If your thoughts wander, good. It means you're alive. And each time you guide yourself back with kindness, you're strengthening trust within. That's what meditation builds. Not silence, but self-trust. The knowing that no matter how chaotic the mind becomes, you can always come back. To the breath, to the moment, to yourself. And that return is everything. There's a moment in every practice when something shifts, not because the mind goes quiet, but because you stop needing it to. That's when meditation becomes more than technique. It becomes refuge, a quiet place you can return to, even in the middle of noise, even in the middle of life. This stillness you're touching now, it was never outside you. It's always been here, beneath the doing, beneath the thinking, waiting patiently to be noticed. You don't have to earn it. You just have to allow it. And the more you allow it, the more it becomes part of how you move, how you breathe, how you live. Stillness is not about pausing life. It's about learning how to meet life differently. The traffic, the tension, the tasks, they don't vanish. But you begin to relate to them with more space, more softness, more breath. When you build this inner space, you stop reacting automatically. You start responding intentionally. This is how meditation works off the cushion. It shows up in your conversations, in your patience, in how you treat yourself when things go wrong. The breath becomes a bridge between chaos and clarity, between pressure and peace. And each time you walk across it, you return stronger, not louder, but clearer. Meditation doesn't promise to change your life overnight, but it does promise this. Each time you pause, you come back to yourself. And that return, again and again, begins to shift everything. You become more aware of how you speak, how you listen, how quickly you judge, and how gently you can release. This work is subtle. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It whispers when you choose breath over reaction, when you choose stillness over speed, when you choose presence over pressure. You won't always notice the change, but others will. They'll feel your calm. They'll notice your steadiness, even when you say nothing at all. And that is the real power of practice. You may not always have time to meditate, but you always have time to return. One breath, one pause, one moment of noticing. That's all it takes. In the middle of an argument, on a crowded train, during a stressful meeting. Stillness is always available, not as escape, but as anchor. This is the gift of short meditation. It travels with you. It fits into your life, not the other way around. And the more often you return, the shorter the distance becomes between stress and stillness, between noise and presence. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. This is it. This breath. this awareness, this quiet reset. Most people think meditation is about stopping thoughts, but it's not. It's about noticing them, without needing to believe them. Your mind will speak. That's its nature. It will remind you of deadlines, replay old conversations, plan the next move. Let it speak. But don't follow. Be the witness, the quiet observer, the one who sees the thought and stays still. This practice builds space between what happens in your mind and how you choose to meet it. And in that space, freedom lives. Not the freedom to escape, but the freedom to stay centered, even as the world continues to spin. Some days, meditation will feel effortless. Other days, your mind will resist every second of stillness. Both are valid. Both are practice. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be present. Even the struggle is sacred, because every moment you stay is one moment closer to trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in your breath. Trust that peace is not something to earn, but something you return to. So when the noise gets loud, when you forget everything you've learned, when stillness feels far away, pause and take one breath. Not because it fixes everything, but because it reminds you you're already home. Meditation isn't something you finish. It's something you return to, again and again. There is no level to reach, no final achievement, just a deepening awareness of where you are and how gently you can be there. Each time you come back to your breath, you're choosing presence over pressure, peace over panic, simplicity over struggle. And that choice, repeated often, becomes your habit, your rhythm, your way of living. You don't need a silent mountain. You don't need an empty room. You only need this moment, this breath, and the willingness to notice it. Stillness is not far. It's as close as your next exhale. Think of your breath like an anchor, not to hold you down, but to hold you steady. No matter how busy your day becomes, how many thoughts rush in, how loud the world gets, your breath is always there. It doesn't ask questions. It doesn't need permission. It simply reminds you, you are here, you are alive, you are safe. And every time you return to it, you build something strong within you, a calm that isn't shaken by noise, a clarity that doesn't depend on perfection. You may not notice it right away, but the more you pause, the more you'll feel it. A quiet power, growing, breath by breath. There's a quiet strength that builds through this practice. Not loud, not flashy, but steady, like the tide. Each time you pause, you teach your body that it doesn't need to panic to feel alive. You teach your mind that it doesn't need chaos to stay awake. And slowly, you begin to shift. You carry more stillness into your mornings, more breath into your stress, more presence into your choices. This is how transformation happens, not with sudden breakthroughs, but with gentle, repeated returns. You don't need to feel different right away. You just need to know what you're building is already working. You were never meant to be at war with your own mind. You were never meant to feel behind every time you paused. Meditation reminds you, you are not your pace. You are not your productivity. You are presence. That presence doesn't need to prove itself. It just needs to be remembered, over and over again. Every time you sit, even for 1 minute, you're returning to something ancient inside you, a quiet intelligence, a natural rhythm, a softness the world may have rushed you to forget. But it's still there, always. The mind may be busy, but the breath is steady, and that steadiness is your power. You've made it here, to the end of the noise and the beginning of something deeper. This wasn't about doing meditation perfectly. It was about remembering what's always been within you. A breath, a pause, a place to rest, even for a minute. And if all you take from this is one breath, one full, present, quiet breath, then something in you has already shifted. Because presence doesn't need hours. It just needs you. So let me ask you, When was the last time you gave yourself 1 full minute just to be still? Leave a comment. You might remind someone else they deserve the same.